I am 3+Kei. I am your favorite social worker. Welcome back. We are here today. Oh, let me tell you why I'm here. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. And we are here in this space today to finish up the book of Obadiah. There are two themes to the book of Obadiah, which is the shortest book in the Old Testament. The shortest book in the New Testament, by the way, is Jude, the book of Jude. So, the two themes in the book of Obadiah are justice and pride. The theme of justice, the explanation is that Obadiah predicted that God would destroy Edom as punishment for standing by without helping Judah when Babylon invaded them. And so the takeaway from this first section of Obadiah is that people going people, right? Like people are going to come for you. And the fact of the matter is in this instance, the Edomites were supposed to be God's people too, and watched as Judah, their fellow man in the Lord, watched them get attacked and overtaken, and were just kind of took a positioning like, well, it's not me, so it's not my problem. We as Christians, when we see an injustice, it is vital, and we are called to stand up for injustice, for those on behalf of those who are being abused or mistreated. We are called to stand up and act on their behalf. The Edomites didn't do that, and so the Lord destroyed them. And that brings us to our second part of Obadiah, which will be Israel's restoration. We're also going to be talking about pride within this piece as well. So we are in the book of Obadiah, verse 17. The subject matter is Israel's restoration. And so here we have in verse 17, but on Mount Zion will be deliverance. It will be holy, and Jacob will possess his inheritance. Jacob will be a fire and Joseph a flame. Esau will be a stubble, and they will set him on fire and destroy him. There will be no survivors from Esau. The Lord has spoken. Verse 19 says, people from the Negev will occupy the mountains of Esau, and people from the foothills will possess the land of the Philistines. The commentary here, the Negev was the southern part of Judah, a dry, hot region. The foothills were in the western part of Judah. Carrying on, they will occupy the fields of Ephraim and Samaria, and Benjamin will possess Gilead. This company of Israelite exiles who are in Canaan will possess the land as far as Zarephath. The exiles from Jerusalem who are in Sepharad will possess the towns of the Negev. The commentary, the boundaries of the kingdom would be extended to include the Canaanites or the Phoenicians as far north as Zarephath, located between Tyre and Sidon on the Mediterranean coast. Sepharad was possibly the city of Sardis in Asia Minor. And then we're going to wrap it up with verse 21, which says, deliverers will go up on Mount Zion to govern the mountains of Esau, and the kingdom will be the Lord's. I'll finish up with the commentary and then follow up. The commentary is, the Edomites were routed by Judas Maccabus in 164 BC. The nation no longer existed by the 1st century AD. At the time of Obadiah's prophecy, Edom may have seemed more likely to survive than Judah, which is why they couldn't be bothered with coming to their defense in the first place. This demonstrates the Yet Edom has vanished and Israel still exists. This demonstrates the absolute certainty of God's word and of the judgment awaiting all who have mistreated God's people. Obadiah brought God's message of judgment on Edom. God was displeased with both their inward and their outward rebellion. Nations today are much the same as those in Obadiah's time, filled with arrogance, greed, and dishonesty. We may wonder when it will all end. Regardless of sin's effects, however, God is in control. Don't despair or give up hope. Know that when all is said and done, when all the battles have been fought, the Lord will still be king, and the confidence you place in him will not be in vain. Edom serves as an example to all nations who are hostile to God. Nothing can break God's promise to protect his people from complete destruction. In the book of Obadiah, we see 4 aspects of God's message of judgment. Number 1, evil will certainly be punished. Number 2, those faithful to God have hope for a new future. Number 3, God is sovereign in human history. And number 4, God's ultimate purpose is to establish his eternal kingdom. The Edomites had been cruel to God's people. They were arrogant and proud, and they took advantage of others' misfortunes. Any nation that mistreats people who obey God will be punished, regardless of how invincible they appear. Similarly, we as individuals cannot allow ourselves to feel so comfortable with our wealth or security that we fail to help God's people. This is sin, and because God is just, sin will be judged and true justice served. So, that said, I don't know if Muhammad is still here. You say free Palestine, and there's a worship of humans instead of the creator. So I'm seeing Lily is here. Hi, Lily. And I don't know who the second person is, but for Mohammed, I don't really wish to get into any kind of political debate at this juncture. But one thing I will say is that there are people, obviously there's a war going on, and there's a lot of sinful behaviors in that engagement in war. And one thing we can do, I don't know where the viewers are that are listening to this, but one thing we can do is pray for all parties available. Pray for the children and the disabled and the elderly and those types of vulnerable populations are that they find safety. Specifically the vulnerable populations. We want to pray for good decision making. We want to pray for peace. We really want to pray for peace. Nobody wants to see anybody killed. So that's what I would say to those kinds of comments, is that us Christians should come together in prayer for this current situation going on overseas. And as far as worshiping a human instead of a creator, Christ is fully God and fully human at the same time. And it's kind of complicated to explain that, and this isn't really maybe the time to go into it. But I would encourage anyone that has questions about Christ and who he is, his redeeming power, why the Lord sent him, and why we should worship him. I could tell you why I do. I'm more interested in you going along that path yourself. There's an app, the app of YouVersion is good for reading the Bible and kind of doing little Bible studies. Got Questions. That's what I'm thinking of. There's an app called Got Questions, and you can just type in your question. Is Christ human? Is a question Muhammad might want to ask. Or what does it mean that Christ is fully human, fully God? What does that even mean? You can type those kinds of questions in there and go along your journey. It's not my position in life and as a Christian to convert people. Only the Lord can change your heart. But I truly encourage anybody to seek the truth, and not in accordance to what they want to believe, but seek the truth according to what you'll find is a lot of factual and historical, archaeologically verified information. So that's what I have to say to those comments. But primarily intercede on behalf of everybody. Pray for your friend, pray for your enemies, and that type of thing. So that's all I've got. That's the end of Obadiah. I kind of fell off with these lives. There's been some recent developments. I've been developing PursueTheSmile as a brand, so there's more that will be coming from PursueTheSmile. I will be more diligent about doing these lives because it's an opportunity for us to kind of vibe and be Christ forward in our thinking together. We're not all the same. If you follow this channel, you know I've got all the razzle dazzle, all the sauce, and sometimes it's hard to find maybe other Christians in our specific space that we really vibe with. So that's why I like to go live. Is I don't know. So Lily says, just ignore all the hate comments and fill them with love. I have to go, but I will be back shortly. Shout out to Lily. Yeah, I don't really, there's like this new age term, like I receive. If somebody was like, hey, Lakeitha, I like your glasses, maybe I would, someone might say like, I receive that. In that vein, I do not receive hate. I do not receive negativity, I guess. It's not really a part of the way I live my life. So anyway, I am 3+Kei. I'm your favorite social worker. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the smile by prioritizing the Lord, your physical health, and persistent education. There are daily videos, 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And with that said, I will talk to you later.